My name is Nico Steves. Podcasts this season will run 15 minutes each in a re-release of my book, The Constant Procession, the history of the Virgin Mary since she passed on. I'd like to thank you for your listening to these weekly Constant Procession podcasts, and also for purchasing plus spreading the word about my book, The Very Fine Light, which is available on Amazon.com. By the way, keep me posted on what you're up to in the comments section of my website or via email at nicosteves@gmail.com. And now enjoy this final installment of my first book, The Constant Procession. Installment 17. Nancy Fowler passed away in January 2012, but there continues a community of faithful who followed her, committed to spread the word and works. The church that established itself adjacent to and associated to some extent with the Faith Center would be the establishment of a Ukrainian Catholic Church, one of the affiliated churches of the Roman Catholic Church. The history of the Ukrainian experience reveals another example of the power that pushed religion aside, and then the results that faith can yield. For here are the results of that steadfast faith shared by stubborn believers who suffered under the threat of horrible religious persecutions from those without faith, the people who hold the belief that only man and might make right. From centuries of attempts to destroy the religious of Ukrainian backgrounds, suppressing their beliefs, the survival of the Ukrainian Christians almost unraveled during the 20th century. Though on life support in their homeland, most of the varied Ukrainian Catholic and Orthodox churches had been spared and survived thanks to the Ukrainian immigrants who escaped to North America. Once stabilized in a new world, these Ukrainian immigrants dedicated themselves at the first chance they could to enjoy the benefit of religious freedom in their new homelands, and they started building Ukrainian churches. Both Ukrainian Catholic and Ukrainian Orthodox communities sprang up in the Americas. And so at the height of communist rule and religious suppression, this diaspora, or fragmented group of modest church communities in the Americas, kept the Ukrainian religion, culture, and language alive in foreign lands, far from their ancestral homeland. These dedicated Ukrainian Americans from both traditional Christian religious doctrines bore the burden of their country's faith and were able to help reestablish their churches back to the homeland once it freed itself from the oppressive USSR's communist shackles. So today, this once oppressed religious community, inspired by her apparating here, pays its respects to the Madonna in Conyers, Georgia, USA, near the apparition site, within the church they call the Mother of God Ukrainian Catholic Church. The pleas to the Fatima children from the apparition of the Madonna in 1917 to pray for Russia went unheeded, resulting, as predicted, with the nation of Ukraine being absorbed, along with Russia, into the USSR, until Ukraine could free itself from communist rule. A belief in miracles, a thanks to the country that sheltered the hardworking immigrants, now honoring the request of the Madonna to build a church here. The results of Nancy Fowler's trip to Medjugorje is inspiration, a beginning. The apparitions occurring at the end of the 20th century on the farm in Conyers, Georgia, are still controversial. Hence, these events in Conyers, part of Metro Atlanta, Georgia, is still a muse in the city, hometown to Martin Luther King, also known as the city too busy to hate. Chapter 29, A Timeless Mode of Being. But one thing is clear. The occurrences following these alleged apparitions of the Madonna have tangible results. For it is a contemporary example where, regardless of one's beliefs in the actual events of these apparitions, one thing is irrefutable. The actions of those following an apparition's appearances is the creation of houses of faith, places of worship, sanctuaries removed from the everyday didactics of our man-made world, places that remove us from the everyday of today and on into a timeless mode of being, an epoch of the infinite, where time has no value, where one may contemplate their wants their needs, and those of others. Places of dignity and hope, faith and love, peace and tranquility. Places to escape from the finite world, and rather, places of the infinite possibilities too broad to imagine, where the faithful take strength and the faithless search for something more. Here in Conyers, Georgia, there is a subtle, endless procession of people from all walks of life, from all parts of the world, coming, praying to a young handmaiden who accepted from an apparition a request from on high to offer herself to give a virgin birth to Jesus Christ, and so alter the path of her young life, leaving family and friends far behind to shelter her babe from the swords of her enraged king, and provide sanctuary and rear the Son of Man. Here, on one of the highest spots in the area, standing as tall as the tallest man-made tower in Conyers, Georgia, USA, is one of the latest places for one mother of many names. We all stand or fall with one another. We all come into this world and we all leave this world alone. How we spend our time while on the earth seems to be the question at hand. What logical reason is there to believe supernatural phenomena comes to guide us? Ultimately, it's a matter of faith, pure and simple. And the endless procession continues. Perfection, making our own way and not at the expense of someone else. This is a goal, to help one another out along the way, perhaps more to encourage others, to help them when they stumble, to care in some way for each other. These are universal principles. Rationalizing is a powerful tool that can be used towards either selfless or selfish aims. How one chooses to approach living is, it seems, the choice we are asked to use our personal free will to make. Our choices are between these two options. Why does a mother want to help her children? This is a silly question. She would try to do everything in her power to help guide them. And in the case of the Madonna, the task has been unusual, but the events have been unusual. What men and women believe has not been under the microscope in this search, nor has the notion of faith. It has been to document but a few witnessed occurrences that are elementary when compared to the most recent box office sci-fi adventures, with messages directing us to fast, to pray, to ask for forgiveness, to reconcile with each other as we ourselves continue to work on living more fulfilled lives, or rather to aspire towards living our personal lives in a more rewarding fashion, helping each other, loving one another. Love in this case meaning to care about the success of each other while we develop in our own individual lifestyles. We live separate lives, each one of us alone. In realms of reality, we view from home. How we come into life is unknown. How we go out is unknown. What we do while here is something we know we can own. The end. This is Nico Steves. I hope you enjoyed this installment. My book, The Very Fine Light, can be found using the title, The Very Fine Light, on Amazon.com. Please feel free to contact me at nicosteves.com. That's Nikos Steves, Steves.com. If you like this episode, and for more, share them with friends. This is Nico Steves. Thank you. See you next time.